Hi everyone and welcome back to the Pulse Social Podcast. This week I spoke to Melissa Vanachter, who is a project officer and coach at Disability Sports Coach, as well as a sports mentor at Track Academy. We spoke about her path into the world of sports coaching and how she believes sports can help all people in their psychological and social well-being, and why this is important to her. So let's get into the podcast. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm here today with Melissa Vanachter, who is a project officer and coach for Disability Sports Coach, and also a sports mentor at Track Academy. So thank you so much for joining me today and coming on our podcast. We'd just like to give a background of yourself, introduce who you are and what you do.
Yes, so thank you for the introduction. My name is Melissa. I'm born and raised in Belgium. I'm Belgian Congolese, and then I moved to London about 4 years ago. And I didn't work in sports straight away. Basically, before, when I was still a teenager, I was doing little jobs in the sport industry. I was helping to organize sport camps and also delivering certain sport camps. So that was I was already in the sport environment. And then my first year at uni, I studied to become a teacher, a French teacher and sports teacher as well. So I really enjoyed it, but I didn't really enjoy certain parts of the teaching aspects in the school that I was in. So I only did it for 1 year, and then I changed into social educational care work. And then when I came to London, I think it was during lockdown where I lost my previous job. And then I had the opportunity to work for Track Academy. And I started working there as a sports mentor. And that's how I kind of got back into the sports industry. And I did my qualifications through them. And then that's how I started working after that for Disability Sports Coach as well, and started coaching everywhere, and now work in the office for them as well.
Yeah. So you mentioned before to me that you like multi-sports and athletics, and these are your passions, playing sports. So why these sports? Why do you have passion for these sports? And
Well, multi-sports, because when I was at school back in Belgium, secondary school, our school was selected to represent Belgium towards different other schools from different countries in Europe. And then it was it's called Eurosport, and we all came together in one country, and then we played all these different sport, competition based. So through that, I learned about all the different sports. I learned about to play basketball, football, and really went through the technical sides and all the rules that were in there. So that's how I that's how my love for multi-sports kind of grew, because I love to discover new sports and to play new sports, and I could see where I was good in and what was a bit harder for me. So that's why I like that. And then athletics. Well, when I was doing the multi-sports competition, there was an athletics day, and I was selected to do the 100-meter run, and I ended up being the first. I came first, so I was wow, I was super happy about that. And then when I moved to London, I joined an athletics club in Finsbury Park, and I started training with them, and yeah, that's how I really started. That's how my love for athletics started as well.
Yeah, amazing. So growing up, did you have any challenges when you started playing sports? Were there any barriers, and how did you overcome these?
Yeah, definitely. I think growing up, I live in an area where it was very safe. Kids could play outside on the streets. There was no cars really passing through. So I was outside all the time playing with my friends, my neighbors, and so on. So I was quite active. But then when I was growing into a teenager, 16-ish, I stopped playing. Like a lot of girls, I think I stopped playing outside. I stopped being physically active, started gaining a lot of weight. And then luckily, I had a friend of mine from school who was very like active, and she loved going for runs, and I hated running. Like I couldn't even run for 5 minutes without feeling overwhelmed. And just going with her and like running like one like running together and slowly building that up, that really made me feel like, wow, like 1 month ago I couldn't even run for 5 minutes, and now I've been running for 1 hour, and I feel like, okay, that means that if you really focus on something, you can achieve everything.
Yeah, definitely. So it's also having someone with you as well, that kind of
Yeah,
like pushing you and motivating you as well.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think if my friend wasn't there and wasn't like positive about it, I would have never even take the step to actually, go for a run. That was crazy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So now if you move on to like your work now as a project officer and coach at Disability Sports Coach, can you just tell us a bit about what the kind of work you do and the role you play at this organization?
Yes, so I manage like all the different community clubs. We have like community clubs across London, and it's like a weekly sports session that we deliver in different boroughs, multi-sport sessions where we have like a professional coach with like volunteers. And then participants just get the chance to be in a safe space. They can be physically active, they can be part of their community, and they can gain social skills. So yeah, that's what basically I manage right now. And before that, I was coaching. I was coaching first, so I was like doing the sessions, going to the different clubs and so on. And then I started working in the office, which is also very, very nice to be able to do both.
Yeah, so when I was doing some of my research, I found an article where you were kind of, I don't know if you were leading it, but it was something about like circus sports and bringing this in. So can you tell me a bit more about this event and why you chose like circus?
Yeah, that was in Hackney, Club Hackney. I wanted to give something different to the participants, make them gain new skills and boost their confidence, because there were certain things that looked quite difficult to do. You had to have like a good balance. But I do feel like when you push someone a little bit to go for it, you would be surprised to see how much they can actually do.
Yeah.
So I was in touch with different organizations, and I really like the circus like environment. And I know that people with disabilities don't really have that opportunity or that experience previously, so it would be like something different. And yeah, I was in touch with them, and they were really keen to do that. So I organized it, and the participants really loved it. It was such a nice event. So yeah, I'm happy I did that.
Yeah, it looked like a really cool experience. So
It was even for me, it was the first time actually doing that. Like I've
yeah.
been to circuses, but I never really did it myself. So yeah, it was really nice. And that group is like more adults as well. So I was a bit scared maybe that they wouldn't like enjoy it that much, but they were all so happy and really proud of themselves for actually achieving this. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So with the people that you coach at Disability Sports Coach, what are the biggest challenges you see these kind of people, like what do they face and how do you help them kind of overcome these challenges?
There are really different types of challenges. It's not always easy for them, but they're always very rewarding and very positive, and that's also inspiring to me. But I do know a few people who do face with loneliness and depression and low self-esteem. So it's hard to hear those type of things, and you want to help them as much as you can, as much as I can do with my job as well. But yeah, there's a lot of people who might feel like they don't belong somewhere, or who feel like they don't look the way they want to look. Like I have someone like that who calls me often to tell me that she's feeling depressed and she's feeling lonely. And so yeah, it's not always easy for them, especially if you don't have a good support around you, if you don't have like people who can actually support you, your family, your carers, or so on, it can be very, lonely.
Yeah, definitely. So then how is the work that you do, how does it help to overcome these sort of challenges? What do you kind of say to someone who rings you and says something like that?
Yeah, well, it's really difficult. Well, I've studied social educational care work, so I'm really into everything that's like therapy and psychology and like meditate, like all of that, the benefit, like these positive benefits. I'm really up for that, but I also need to be careful with what I'm sharing, because the job that I do now has, I can't be like giving them like
Yeah,
too
definitely.
much advice. So I'm always happy to advise them and to ask them to like try to relax and do some meditation, or definitely ask them to come to our sessions, because sport is a therapy as well. And after the session, just through the good energy around and being active, like you always feel good at the end of the session. You get to know more people, so you will feel less lonely as well. You can make new connections. So that's how I definitely motivate them to just like come to as many sessions. You can follow us, like you can join our online sessions as well. So there's always something to do to feel a bit less lonely.
Yeah, definitely.
And also always recommend them towards people, towards organizations that are professionally trained for it as well.
Yeah. So you already mentioned kind of this aspect at university. You studied socio-educational care work, and this is kind of about learning how to support vulnerable people in society and just making like an inclusive environment. So why is this something that was important to you, and why did it stand out so much that you like went into a whole like degree about it? And kind of how does it link to the sports field and what you're doing now?
Well, I was always into the social sector. I always liked helping people and understanding people and like, yeah, engaging with people. I come from a background that wasn't like privileged myself, so I did understand certain struggles, and luckily for me that I had a good environment, so that I didn't like believe in certain stigmas or certain things that people would say, like, or if your parents come from this background, then you have less chance of becoming successful, or like things like that. I was always wanting to like do better and improve that. Like it's all about you. If you have the right mindset, you can achieve everything. And I want to give that as well to, I want to share that as well with other people. I feel like I can talk to people easily and make them feel comfortable, make them open up, make them like encourage them to believe in themselves. And studying this, like it did a lot for myself, first of all, because I get to discover myself more. I get to understand certain emotions that I have, certain trauma. So that was already for myself like an eye opener that I really enjoyed, like psychology and sociology and philosophy and all of that. And then applying that towards other people was also a benefit. And now like sport became like a passion of mine, and working with people with disabilities was like part of what I studied for. So it's like a combination, a mix of both. And like I said, it's not just what I do at Disability Sports Coach is not just like straight just about the sport. It's also about talking to people, making people feel good, encouraging them, see what you can do like to make them feel better. So it's not just like sport, it's also like that social aspect that is really important. So yeah, I think that's the perfect combination.
Yeah, definitely. So just lastly, I wanted to ask, why does sports foster this kind of community, and why is sports so important in allowing like the social aspect, psychological aspect? Why do you think sports play such a vital role in that?
Yeah, I think sport just has so many benefits that like you would be surprised by the positive effects that it can give you. So that's why I would like recommend it to everyone to just like try, and even people who are not used to it. It's gonna be hard in the beginning, definitely, but once you just make a routine, you'll see your body's actually gonna adapt to it and it's gonna get better. And I just love seeing like progress, like people who push through, and it helps you with all other things that can happen in your life. When something bad happens, you know that you will be able to survive it, because you can relate it with sports. It starts bad sometimes. You feel like, oh, I can't do it anymore. And then you push through, you train your mind to not give up, to keep going for it. And then you see a positive result. And that you can apply into your life as well. When something bad happens, you want to give up, you don't want to do it anymore. Sometimes just train your mind to push through, and then you'll see a positive result. So yeah, that's what.
Yeah, it's amazing. So that's all the questions I have.
Oh, nice.
Today. Is there anything else you'd like to say, or?
No, well, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed your questions as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you so much for coming on. It was really nice to talk to you and lovely to learn more about what you're doing and kind of your passions. So thank you.
No worries. Yeah, thank you.